You know, we are almost to the end of this Mercury retrograde, and boy, I tell you what, the end can't come soon enough. I've been just playing with technical opportunities now for the last 3 weeks, and I'll be glad when it's gone. But I'm so glad you have chosen to join us here today. I've got an interesting show on tap for us. My guest today is Sylvia Moss. She's an accomplished photographer. She's a healer. She's an angelologist. And she has taken some amazing photographs that have appeared in, national stuff all over the U.S., including the New York Times and Dance Pages magazine. 2 of her angel pictures have also appeared in Angels on Earth. She has a new book out, and it's called Angels of New York. And I wanted to have her on the show today because I wanted to share something really different with you guys. So welcome, Sylvia.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, this is so much more than just a coffee table book. And it is a beautiful book. I mean, so it could well grace anyone's coffee table, but your pictures are fantastic. They pull you in to the image. So, what inspired you to do this creation? Let's just start with that.
Thank you. Actually, I have to give the credit to a friend. He suggested, we were photographing a church. He was a priest, and he was a landmarks commissioner. He actually wrote the introduction to the book.
Okay.
And we were coming back from just taking some snapshots of this church they were going to be tearing down. And he was asking me about my angels that were in an exhibition. It was Christmas time, of course. And so we were talking about my angels in this exhibition. And all of a sudden he said, why don't you do a book on angels and call it Angels of New York? And I just let out a scream because I knew that I was supposed to be doing a book, but I had no idea what I was supposed to be doing. And then 17 years later, I published it.
Wow.
So I was inspired by his inspiration, so to speak.
Yeah, and there's such a beautiful variety of angels in your book. Do these angels have an overall message that kind of underlies how you put it together?
I think the underlying message of how it was put together wasn't really about where these angels are, who they are, but it's about them bringing us messages of guiding us on this planet on how to be and how to live our lives. And the reason I think that they are so diverse is because they're in New York. I mean, they're most of them are public statues. Yeah. So they don't have that religious feeling to them, although some of them do. Mm-hmm. And then there's 2 that Salvador Dali did that are like completely out of the park, that are, somebody having a Dali dream kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, it's an interesting combination. Let's put it that way.
It is, and New York is the city of diversity anyway.
Yes.
And it was interesting because when I announced this on Facebook this morning, I said, most of you guys think that Los Angeles is the city of angels, but Sylvia, you're bringing us a whole nother picture to New York, and it's away from any kind of lower vibrational thoughts. It really raises the vibration of the thought of the city to another level.
Yeah, and actually, when I think back in hindsight, that's exactly what it's supposed to do, because from that, I'm right in the middle of the mess or the creative, wonderful mess, I should say, of creating a card deck from these angels and from the angels that I photographed in Rome. Mm. And because I thought I was going to do a Rome book, but I don't want to do another book. So I thought that I was actually inspired to do this card deck. And that's exactly what it's about, is to raise the frequency. That's the whole bottom line of the card deck.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you're talking about creating a card deck, because many years ago, actually 2002, when I received my work that I do on a daily basis called InnerSpeak, after I brought it in and kind of decided what it was and how it was going to work, my guides came to me, or the angels, whoever,
Right.
and they said, Jean, there are so many people that could benefit from this work that they'll never contact you for a session because they're not going to understand what it is you do. And they won't read a book if you write a book, but if you'll create a deck of cards, they will play with cards.
Wow.
And I think it's such a beautiful medium. So, many years ago, I created my deck, and it's,
Fantastic.
So yeah, cards is a way, it's a segue into getting people to connect and dive a little bit deeper into their psyche, their reality, their stuff, or perhaps with your angels into meditation if they hadn't done that already.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Completely.
And the other thing is that there's so much of, when I was creating the book, I kept, ruminating, what's the next step? And, when my editor said to me, now you have to write, how the people are supposed to use the book. And I said, I'm not going to do that. I mean, I just put my hands in
I take pictures. I don't write that stuff.
Right. I mean, I just almost, had a meltdown. And then 2 days later, I started writing how they're going to use the book. And that's exactly how not how they're supposed to, but the guidance that I got was the purpose was to teach people, or to help teach people how to meditate, or how to know that there was such a thing as angels and that they were there to help us. And because we can't see them. And so, we're so on our hands-on this planet that if we can't see it, it doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. So that was really the whole impetus behind this.
For sure.
That a person can sit and then get into meditation, but then also start communicating with these angels.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting that you say, well, we can't see them, but obviously throughout the ages, there have been craftsmen and artists who have been able to see them. Yes. Otherwise, where would they have come up with these incredible images? Yes. So I know that they have appeared to others. And once I began to believe in them, they started appearing to me. And so, yeah, I know they exist. I can't touch them and feel them, but they're tangible in my reality. Yes. And so helpful. They're so there for us.
Yes.
That to have a way to meet them and to learn how to work with them is just a really important thing that you've done. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Recently, I had to write an article for the book, recently. And as I was writing, all of a sudden, and this stuff is channeled. I mean, I don't,
of course.
I don't take that much credit for some of this stuff. And all of a sudden, sort of like the last line, the angels have your back. I thought, oh my God, what a great line. And that is exactly it. Yeah. I mean, they're always there. We just have to ask them.
Yeah, because they can't interfere with our free will, because that's against the rules.
Exactly.
We're here to muddle through this life, on our own, unless we, want to reach out and ask for help. And when we do, as soon as we do, that helping hand is always there, ready to,
in the instant. Mm-hmm. It is quite remarkable.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And, there's so much more depth to reality than we could even fathom.
Oh, well, that's another, place of the book. I was like, to help people get into that other reality, and just to keep going and going and going. And I think right now is a great time, because things are lifting so in the ascension, and there's so many more people who are talking about it, which is really exciting. I mean, that's really, we don't have to do so much work. So
exactly.
That people are really catching on, and we can now dialogue about it. And I just think that's very, very exciting, very exciting.
Yeah, it really is. And so how do you, if I were to buy your book right now and be standing in front of you and saying, Sylvia, would you please sign my book? And I said, so what do I do with this? What would you say to me?
I would say to you, every day or maybe even once a week, maybe right before you go to bed or when you come home from work, a time that you have for yourself. I always say sit in a corner chair because that's always kind of cozy. And just
I have one.
Good. Just open the book to any page. Mm-hmm. And if it's just text, then find an image. And don't start at the beginning of the book. I mean, you can. It's because it has some very interesting stories. But just open a book to an image and just sit for a few moments and look at the image. And just as if you were meeting a new friend. Mm-hmm. And then just dialogue inside of yourself. Go to your heart. And just start feeling if this angel is coming off of the page. And then take yourself into a meditation from that. And that will then lead people or lead you or whoever is looking at this book into a whole new world of being and of looking and feeling. And we're so visual that we look and we don't go deeper under what we're feeling because we're so attached to what that looks like. So it just takes us into that other world. That's what I would say.
Yeah, and with some of the images, I would say that even beyond that, mm-hmm. it's appropriate to ask the angel out loud. Even I did it out loud. Ask the angel. I feel like you're trying to talk to me. What did you want me to know? What are you trying to tell me here? And allow, just sit and listen.
Yes.
And allow that information to come back because you might be startled at what you would get.
Well, this is true. This is true. And another interesting way is that, when you've done this, sitting and meditating and looking and listening is, if you have questions or just write it, just have a piece of paper and a pen and write down your question. But even if you don't have a question, just what you said, what is it that you want me to know? Mm-hmm. And then wait a few moments and then just freehand writing. And you would be quite surprised at what comes through.
Yeah, and I'm going to offer another thing that just popped into my head because my angels are talking to me while we're talking.
Yes.
And what they said was, and if you don't hear us right away, take that piece of paper and just put it inside the book and close the book. And then at some point come back to that piece of paper and write.
Yeah.
And you will hear our message that we have formulated for you.
That's a great idea. It's a great idea. Some people, when they're helping people get messages from other places, say to write the question with your right hand and write the answer with your left, or whatever your dominant hand. Write the question, and your non-dominant hand write the answer. And that's kind of shocking too, because sometimes you can't read it very well, but sometimes you can.
Yeah. It doesn't matter whether you can visually read it or not. You'll get it.
Exactly.
So, you're an angelologist and a healer. What is the most profound message that you've ever received from an angel?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, gosh, I don't know, because there's always so many. And what's the most profound?
Or just what's the first one that comes into your mind? Because I put you on the spot with that.
No, that's okay. I think the most profound, it wasn't what they said. Mm-hmm. It was what I felt. Yeah. I did this process. There was a thing going around the internet and with friends of inviting angels into your house. Mm-hmm. And you had to do this whole process. You had to write out a message to them. You had to put a flower out.
I did it too.
I know. That's amazing. So I have this fear of seeing something outside the window, UFOs and angels coming when I'm not expecting it. So they're very respectful of that. So when I had to open the door at a certain time, when you have to open the door. And so at a certain time I had to open the door and I was going to read this thing that I had to read to them. And I wasn't terrified. I was just very apprehensive of what's going to happen when I open the door. So I opened the door. Of course, there was nothing that I could see there. And so I read my little message. And so then I stepped back and I opened the door so they could come in. But all of a sudden I realized I had to step way back, open the door really big, because this feeling of this image came through the door. It was huge, huge. And it took my breath away. And they came in and I could feel them all. I don't see with my third eye, but I have a knowing.
Yeah, that's me. Same thing.
Right. Yeah. And so I could just feel them and sense them all going to these spots. It was like they were these soldiers. They went to these spots, and I was breathless, totally breathless. And then I would take them out with me, and they would fly up in the sky. I mean, it was a total trip. So that was really profound. Yeah. And so I think that was a turning point for me, that this is real. Yeah. This is really real.
That's a beautiful story. And, I guess mine is kind of similar to that, because I don't see with my third eye. Well, I didn't. As I've become to trust, now all of my clair abilities are kind of coming open. But in the beginning, oh no. And so I started working with an angel deck way back in the day. It was Kimberly Maroney's Angel Book.
Oh, yes.
And, I found the messages in that book, just to really touch my heart. And so I was working with one of my clients, and the clearing facilitation that came up for the client was for her to just call in a beautiful angel and let the angel enfold her in the angel's arms and just hold her. And I was just sitting there watching her do the facilitation. She was laying on a massage table, and I'm sitting kind of a few feet away, letting her do her thing. And, as I would normally do, sit there, pick my fingernails or ponder my grocery list or whatever while they're doing it. I'm muscle testing the whole time to see when they're finished.
Yes.
I saw this giant, like you said, image of a being come and just sort of lay on top of her on the massage table with wings outstretched.
Yes.
And this woman, same with Sherry. And this happened in like 2003. This has been a long time ago. Wow. And so when she was done, and I just stood there with my jaw on the floor.
Right.
And I said, Sherry, what just happened? And she said, oh my God, this beautiful angel came and just held me in his wings until I released, because she was grieving the death of her husband, until she was able to release that grief. And I was like, wow, I saw that. And so then every time I would work with a client, I'm like, oh, come on, please come, angels, please come. I want to see you again, because it was such a neat experience. And now, it's like second nature, for that sort of thing to happen.
Yes.
But at one point I was pondering, I was meditating and I was pondering, and Archangel Michael came and he said, Jean, you always are telling people, I see this color, or I see that color, that means this angel's here or that angel's here, and blah, blah, blah. He said, do you not understand, Jean, that we're all just an aspect of you? And I was like, whoa, how can that be? I'm not worthy. I feel like that movie back in the day, I'm not worthy.
Right, exactly.
But it made a lot of sense.
Yes.
That we have this innate divinity, each of us.
Yes. Yes.
And the angels are here to show us that, I think.
That's very true, I think, yeah. I've been studying and now practicing a new modality that I learned this summer from my spiritual teacher, who also is a healer, but that wasn't her main focus. But she does have this healing program, and it's called Christ Healing. Mm-hmm. And it's fifth dimensional light technology. And in that system, when we start our process, we have to do, lots of things before. And when we're in the process, there are angels working with us constantly. And I see, as you were saying, we get further on and we do see. I do see now but I don't see like I see you in front of me.
Right.
I see as if I'm in a dream. You know.
Okay, erase that and open to the possibility that
exactly. Well, yes. Yeah. Yeah. But they are there. So even when I'm doing other things now, I will call in very specific angels to work with me. And so, yeah, it's, absolutely. And I just have to add a little touch in now that you're mentioning. I hadn't thought about this, but my spiritual name, the last part of my spiritual name is Raphael, like my family. So I was like, oh, that's cool. I like that.
Very good. Very good. Yeah. Well, this has really been an interesting conversation, and your book is priceless and wonderful.
Oh,
so thank you so much for bringing that in to share that with us in the world. And I look forward to seeing this deck of cards. So please tell the viewers, how can they get in touch with you? How can they find out more about Sylvia?
So, the book, Angels of New York, has its own website, and that's www.angelsofnewyorkbook.com.
Okay.
And then my healing website is www.sylviamosshealer.com.
Perfect.
My email, if anybody has any questions or any of that sort, wants to get in touch with me, my email is sylvia@sylviamoss.com.
Perfect. Yay. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. I really enjoyed our conversation.
So did I. Thank you so much. It was really great.
So viewers, next week, my guest is going to be Denise Alexander Pyle. And we're going to talk about, because she's written a book that is quite interesting, and it's about applying the 10 Commandments, the ancient 10 Commandments from thousands of years ago, into today's world. And I found it to be very enlightening. So we're going to chat about that, bringing us fully present and following spiritual law in today's world. And I also want to remind you that if you've not already done so, please go to my website, JeanAdrienne.com, JeanAdrienne.com. And right there on the homepage, on the kind of left-hand side, you can sign up for my newsletter. And if you do so, I will gift you with a free enrollment in my online version of the Inner Speak cards. This is that card deck I held up just a moment ago. And they're actually automated so that you can do clearings on yourself in the privacy of your own home, on your computer or your phone. And that's an unlimited subscription. It never expires. You can just continue to play with that. I do suggest that you don't do it more than once a day, because even though it's like a game, it's very powerful energy work, and you don't want to put yourself into a healing crisis. You do want to process the work that you do. And so until next week, remember, people who take responsibility for their lives create the reality they desire. Much love to all of you.